perfect teenager also asking for a friend.
Have any of your users ever watched the Linda Blair Exorcist?
Oh my god! Bad side of my face that I'm on.
God. Is there a good side?
And hello everybody, it is Dingle here and welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing super duper well, guys. I'm so sorry in advance.
Love you.
Apologies for the noise in advance. My dad and I are taking the Jeep down to our cousin's house. Well, my cousin's, your niece. Right?
Was that like a mind bender?
Yeah, I couldn't figure it out. I asked you guys to submit questions on Instagram. Oh, the lighting is spectacular. We're gonna get through this. I asked you guys to submit some questions. So if you guys want to be part of things like this in the future, go ahead and follow me there. But I asked you guys to submit some questions for my dad and I while we were on our road trip. And I have to say, just looking, oh my Lanta, just by looking at some of the previews to these questions, you guys did not hold back. And I'm really excited. I did not prep Dad for any of these questions, so I'm just gonna get right into it. We're gonna, oh my god. Dad! All right, Dad, are you ready? We're gonna start off with some surface level ones. Okay, first question. Sam would like to know, what crime podcast are we listening to currently? Sam! Well, we haven't listened to any crime podcast. I don't know what we've been talking about for the first hour and a half of this drive.
Whoa, hold right there.
Yeah.
He picked you up 2.5 hours ago.
Really?
It's 12:30.
Well, we stopped for a bathroom break.
Yeah, for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
We've been in the car for...
What have we been talking about? I don't know. I don't know. What? I don't know. I don't remember what we were talking about. Well, we talked about how airplanes, really cool how they can float in the air.
Oh my god.
That was one of the topics.
That's what you took out of that conversation?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and the stock.
We talked about the space shuttle.
Yes.
We talked about
stock market.
Compounding and your IRAs. We talked about what we would do with $1 million if it was given to us tomorrow.
And you had to spend
3 days to spend it.
That was the kicker.
Talked about that.
Honestly, the vlogs that I watch for Vlogmas, the amount of daughters that talk to their dad and like save finance conversations for when they're with their dad over the holidays is hysterical.
Really?
Yeah, it's like super not out of the ordinary.
You're finally normal.
Haley J wants to know who your favorite child is.
Hey Haley J. Mac is my favorite daughter.
Because I'm his only daughter.
Sam is my favorite musician son.
Because he's the only musician.
And Gabe is my favorite youngest.
Because he's the only youngest. That is the amount of information that we could ever get out of him over the years.
That's right. But we all know who my favorite is.
Yeah, we do. Actually, it's Gabe, if anyone wants to know. Moving on. Somebody anonymously would like to know, does your father secretly call you every single day during coffee time asking for a friend?
That's your question.
No, that's Mom's.
Mom's?
That's Mom's question.
Not every single day.
Basically, whenever you're out for coffee, you make the rounds of the kids.
Oh, yeah.
You call one of us after another.
This is what an involved parent does.
It's true.
It has nothing to do with me. No. I'm sharing.
Was that a diss at Mom for not being an involved parent?
Yeah, I'm the parent that guided you to where you are today. Yeah. We all know that one's true.
Same anonymous question asker also wants to know, was Mac a perfect teenager also asking for a friend?
Mac was my perfect teenager.
Yeah, I was such an angel. I never got into screaming matches. So I never talked back.
Have any of your users ever watched the Linda Blair Exorcist?
Oh my god!
There are 2 scenes in that movie that just encapsulate Mac's teenage
Wait,
years.
I know what you're gonna say.
We know the whole spinning around pea soup thing. And then we know whenever one of us wanted to talk to Mac, the last scene where the devil jumps from the kid into the parent and they push the parent out the window, or the priest out the window, that's pretty much what on a daily basis Lisa and I went through parenting this one.
People are always actually, like in real life, very surprised to hear that I was a very difficult teenager, because I'm just such a like happy-go-lucky, la la la, everything's chill.
Then you could have made it in Hollywood.
Yeah, I could.
Because that is well, a dramatic transition.
I was actually convinced when I was a teenager that like we would never speak again.
Yeah, you were convinced and I was hopeful.
Yeah. This is kind of a good one. It's kind of an in-between. What did he think of you coming to college in Kentucky and being so far from home?
Well, first of all...
Shut up!
No, if you remember...
Yeah.
We were the first ones that encouraged you to get out of the bubble of New England.
It's true,
New England has great schools, not knocking them. They're all mostly phenom schools.
Yeah.
Great, wonderful, wonderful. Mac was the shyest of shy kids.
Yeah.
We have legendary stories of her when we were living in Australia going into kindergarten,
And I was like 4,
and
3.
like being like alone in the corner with a doll.
Yeah, like literally
Like,
not wanting to
the
talk to
shyest of
anybody.
kids. And she was pretty shy through high school as well. And so for her to go away to college was a big fat hairy deal. For her to go away, far away, like plane, not driving away, was a big deal. I was amazed she did it. So proud and so amazed she did it. So for her to go to Kentucky and to get into a school like Center, which is a phenom school, for her to go away to Kentucky, which is fantastic, to experience a different setting than New England, right, and get out of that. But then also to get a great degree and do well and blah, 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 and run track and all those good things. Like, yeah, I mean, all kidding aside, I'm really proud.
Thanks, Dad.
Almost as proud as I was with Sam.
I knew it. there it is. Oh, this one's interesting. Where does the last name Dingle come from? Do you know?
Heritage-wise, right?
I guess,
There's Dingle, Ireland, there's Dingle Bay, there's Dingle Gates. Look at Dingle, Ireland. It stems from that. Ancestors way back when. I think great-great-great-grandfather came over.
Really?
It's back a number of generations. It's not something immediate, so.
Dad came over from Ireland.
Yeah, there you go.
In his kilt with his potatoes.
Right, laddie?
Chandler's Gizmos asks, how are y'all feeling about being in the car with each other for 3 hours?
Time's flown. We have an hour left. I haven't even gotten to anything I wanted to talk to her about.
Oh God. What's so funny is this situation, this car and that car has been schemed over for about a week now.
And everybody's in on it. Mom's on it, Jack's in on it, we all know what's going on.
It just makes sense. Whenever there is a long car ride, Dad and I would like to be in one car because Jack and Mom are literally the same human being and would like to be in the other car. They like solve all the world's problems while we're sitting here being like, isn't it cool that airplanes can float in the sky?
What? No!
They're like, I wonder how astrophysics and things
I know, look it up.
Yeah,
let's see if we can split the atom, you know?
We will literally get on the most deep or just intellectual topics ever. And if we were in that car, we would just be sitting in the back seat on our phones, just like literally not doing anything. Oh, okay. What was your first impression of Jack?
So I first met Jack at the party at our house for the graduates.
Really?
When he and Bill were throwing a football around the front yard.
Oh, that was prom.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I wasn't dressed up.
Oh, really?
It was a party. It was like a senior gathering.
Okay.
Something.
Were we dating?
No.
Okay.
No, he was just there, part of the crowd. And he was a face in the crowd.
Yeah.
No real impression. He was nice, he was polite.
So then when we started dating, or like Mom told you that we may have been talking, he really came over. What was your first impression of him then? What were your internal thoughts? No, I've never asked you this question. Dad! My first impression of Jack was that he was like a druggie in that scene in high school because he had like, I mean, I was super like, our town, there wasn't a lot going on. It's not like we had like a worldly, like well-rounded understanding of like the whole world at all. So when Jack came into school, he had long hair, which was super abnormal for the time, like kind of sweeped over his face. Like he talked to literally every crowd. So catch him like with the druggies, like in the school, like just like hanging out, but I'd also see him with the football guys and like also this, so I thought he was just a straight up stoner.
Yeah, no, I mean just a nice, polite guy.
Nothing, no tea. You literally just liked him. Yeah. You would think that your oldest daughter, having her first male suitor coming over to the house, there would be some more internal thoughts.
I mean, none that I remember, but I'll circle back to the beginning of this conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, take her. He's a great one.
Chrissy Rocky wants to know, what's one song you both...
Chrissy Rocky?
Yeah, Chrissy Rocky. What's one song you both know all the lyrics to?
Oh man, good question.
And can you give us a little sample?
Oh my gosh.
So growing up, I never listened to, until like I was old enough to pick my own songs, I never listened to like baby music. Like for like 1 second, there was this one tape, Raffi or something.
Oh god.
And then Mom and Dad, I think physically like threw that out the window. didn't know
Yeah,
at
then
some point in
we're
time.
full Motown.
Yeah, exactly. So I grew up on like Matchbox 20, Bare Naked Ladies, REM, like stuff like that.
Yep.
So we know a lot.
Van Morrison was a big one.
So what's one song?
Well, Brown Eyed Girl.
Oh, I don't know the words to
That's
that.
your song, neither do I.
Okay. Someone asked for a little bit of details for your book. They're very interested.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I was like, you had me there for a second.
Yeah, just the synopsis.
All right, so synopsis.
Yeah.
Let's see. Thriller, small town, group of women that are in the town, and they've got deep, dark secret from the past that comes back to haunt them decades later. And secrets get divulged, loyalties get betrayed, people get murdered in the process.
Yep.
And
think like high school clique, mean girl status
Yeah.
group goes array.
Exactly.
What did you think about as you walked Mac down the aisle? Do you remember your thought process there?
Yeah, just how goofy it was.
Really?
Yeah.
When we were walking?
Yeah, it was like, oh, everybody's staring at us. I'm sure some dads romanticize the moment. To me, it was like, right inside the door, we both looked at each other. You ready? You got this? I got this.
Yeah, we did. We were like, we got
laughing,
this? Okay.
totally chill. And it helped that the wedding was at our house.
Yeah, that was very
Right, so
comfortable.
there's no awkward, thing. It was just like, hey, like, we could easily sit down and watch TV. Oh, no, let's go out there where the people are. You know, so we walked outside. And then the music was playing, and then Sam was up there. Like, it was just,
Yeah.
it was totally chill, totally cool. I expected more emotions with it, honestly, but it wasn't that. I mean,
I feel like we don't, like, it's not in a bad way, we just don't go that deep with, like, sentimental, like, we don't sit around the table being like, oh, the memories,
exactly,
like,
it just kind of rolls out in front of us.
Yeah, it felt very ceremonial, and, like, we've never been, I wouldn't say not a traditional family, like, we've got, like,
yeah, we have our traditions.
Yeah, we do have our traditions. It was such a strange thing to be stared at walking down.
Exactly.
But there is a picture that the photographer got of you like looking over at me before you handed me off to Jack.
Yeah.
And that was a moment.
Yeah.
And they captured it really well. It didn't get real until like, because my thought process was, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
I'm gonna trip.
Like I'm literally gonna trip. Like my dress is long. Like please don't mess this up. Like shaking. Like I don't like people staring at me. This is so nerve-wracking. There was no nerves about marrying Jack at all. Like it was honestly like wedding day nerves are just like, holy crap, this is a whole day about you.
Yeah.
And like, and then when you're walking with your dad, everyone is looking.
Yeah.
And they're probably looking for those sentimental moments. And we're like,
which one's gonna cry first, right? And it wasn't that. We're like trying not to laugh so that the photos wouldn't be all goofy, right? I mean,
well, Jack was literally like
exactly.
dripping down his face.
Sorry, we're walking up to Jack who's a puddle.
Yeah. And you had to like hug Jack. And he's
come on,
pull it together.
I will say though, phenomenal wedding.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I thought that was the best day. Granted, I wasn't in the spotlight, which was cool.
It was the best day.
So you got to kind of see it from a different perspective. For all those that haven't seen the wedding video, that's I'm sure out there. I'm biased for sure because it's you, but just they did an amazing job with the video and they caught all the right moments throughout the day. Like there wasn't one moment where we were like, oh damn, we should have done that.
Yeah.
I mean, they were on it, and it was just great. And remember, it was supposed to be like sheets of raining outside, right? And it was cloudy up until a couple hours before the ceremony, and literally the sky just like brightened.
Yep.
And it was a sunny day on the coast of Maine. It was just it was just meant to be. It was just a clip.
It was so good. Okay, so this is interesting. I was very flattered. So this person, AP0902, asked, what was your reaction when Dingle said they call me Dingle, when Dingle said she was doing YouTube as a career? And I think that's very flattering that they think that I am doing YouTube as a career. I think that's so nice. Thank you so much. I'm gonna flip the question because I do have other streams of income. Like I definitely get paid by YouTube as well as Twitch and things like that, but not enough to sustain like an income just from those things. So I do have different streams of income in order to make a living for sure. But I'm gonna flip that question because in 2019, as you guys know, I quit my W-2 comfortable 401k job. What was your reaction when I called and told you guys that I quit? Like what was yours?
Yeah, torn. Right, because
Yeah.
if I had my druthers, I would have had a very long, very successful career with the Boston Celtics.
True.
At 5'10", that was not in the cards.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
However, to chase your dream is a great thing, right? We've encouraged everyone to chase their dream, right? Sam is a working professional musician.
Yes.
He is following his dream, so it's hard to really jump behind one and not the other.
That's
right?
true.
So part of me was like, you went to this extremely hard, difficult phenom school.
Yeah.
And you didn't get like, an art history degree or what. No offense to anybody who has an art history degree, but you didn't get a degree that would be maybe easier than a behavioral neuroscience degree that you got.
Yes.
Hardcore med school track degree. Then you get out and you get a job at a gaming company and you love to game.
Yeah.
And like it just dovetails, like
it just makes sense.
From the outside, like you're living your dream, right? You're like using your degree in a field that's cutting edge. This is great. So and the company loves you. I mean, out of like the 40, 50, 60 people that are in your company, like you were the first employee or whatever, like they love you and Jack, right? I would have dreamed to start my career that way. Yeah. And you had the world in your hand and you're like, nope. Yeah. I'm gonna go. So part of me was like, shit.
Wow, she had that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And not you can never get back into it.
Yeah.
But to throw it all away for how hard you worked over 5 years was really hard. But overcoming that was, if you're gonna go for it now.
Yeah.
Right? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. You gotta go for it. This is really what you want to do. You can't wait till you have kids or you have a house or you're 40 or 50. You can wait, but you have a better shot the earlier you start.
At getting it now.
Exactly. Yeah. Go for it now. And like, for me, there are things I wish I have no regrets in life. I wished I had, in that example of the book, I wish I'd started writing when I was in my 20s.
Sure.
I would have had more track left to try to make it go over, right? That it was, you go for it, girl. And then we said very clearly, but I am not your balance sheet.
I'm not coming. I'm not your bank account.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a very interesting perspective because I don't think I've ever like outright asked it. So very good question. Because it is tough. It's like, it's so romanticizing to be like, follow your dreams, but it's like, you do have to be realistic in a sense, so you're not put out on the streets following your dreams.
Absolutely,
Like, you didn't want me to end up in the streets of Seattle trying to be a YouTuber. Like, that just didn't make sense. So I understand the like looking at it as a realistic portion, but also I do have your genes, so you know that I was looking at it like, with a checklist and the budget like in mind.
Yeah, a thoughtful leap.
A very thoughtful leap. Yeah. Nick Niehaus.
Hey,
yeah.
Nick.
Hi, Nick. Nick Niehaus asked a very good question. He said, what about your dad makes you feel like you can be yourself?
Oh, question for you.
Yeah, it's a question for me. You can answer if you want to.
Thank you.
But I was thinking about this because I saw the preview. It's so funny. I didn't actually mean for these questions to go after one another, but it definitely ties into the last question, what you thought about or what you said when I was just like, career bye, like for now at least, you know. I guess overall, I never feel like, and this is huge, I never feel like I'm disappointing my dad. And it's interesting because even with something as big as a career, like out the window and like trying to do something else or like just taking a break, it was always apparent that the number one thing, and you might be like, no, that is not true, but for me, it always was super apparent to me. The most important thing was you support me, not monetarily at all, but like that you always did support me regardless of what I was doing because you saw that I was happy.
Absolutely.
That's how, and I felt that. Seeing that, knowing that your parent supports you regardless of what you're doing, even if they don't necessarily 100% agree with the decisions that you're making, to feel the support and then to just know that they also want to just see you happy, that's all I could ever ask for in a parent. So it was just, it meant a lot. I mean, honestly, like to say that I had a plan, it's kind of like a loose plan. Like I knew short term when I left the job that I could Uber Eats and I did Q Kids and that was totally enough money for us to be totally fine. I just remember like there were literally days where like dad would call and he'd be like, oh, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, just Uber Eats. And he was like, oh, I figured, just wanted to keep you company. So I would like buzz around food.
Around Seattle.
Yeah, around Seattle, and you'd be on speaker. I'd be like, oh, hold on. And I'd be like, okay, have a nice day. Yeah, and there was one conversation, and you probably don't remember saying this, but I will never forget it, where I was like, yeah, I kind of figured out a schedule, and you were like, yeah, what's your schedule? And I was like, okay, I wake up, I do like editing, I do Twitch and stuff like that, and then in the afternoon, I'll go like Uber Eats around lunchtime, and then I would do this, and I will never forget it. You were like, okay, but just make sure you're making time for your creative stuff. And I was like, oh my God, it meant so much because you knew how much that meant to me, and you knew how much that made me happy. It meant a lot. I never told you that, but I'll never forget it. I felt very...
Okay, now that we're sharing.
Yeah.
Are we sharing?
Yeah, we can share now.
Okay, let's share.
Yeah.
The only time you ever disappointed me
Oh no.
was when you were home telling me and Mom about what you wanted to do. And you were so apologetic when you said, I'll be a barista at Starbucks. I know that would be disappointing. You said you suggested or inferred that somehow, some way we would ever be disappointed by anything you did. It was such a bummer. I still think of that today. Like, what did we ever do have you think that we would ever look down on you or anyone that did any job? Like, there was nothing in our family history or DNA or anything that would ever suggest that. And the fact that you had that in your brain, that blew my mind. That absolutely blew my mind.
I'm sorry, Dad.
I know. You spend your life making love to me.
I will.
I'm scarred forever.
You're scarred by that, and I can't get out of my head when you asked if I was making time for creative stuff.
That's right.
So it's like I'm looking at the positives and you're looking at the negative. But I think that is all the questions that we have today, guys. Thank you so much for submitting those. Again, if you want to be part of stuff like this in the future, make sure to go follow my Instagram. Otherwise, if you are not subscribed to the YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button down below, because we are doing Vlogmas every single weekday leading up to Christmas, and then we'll be back to our normally scheduled programming of 3 days a week anyway, uploading. So I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for getting to know my dad and I on a deeper level. I don't know where I was going with that. And we will catch you in the next one, my friends. We'll see you later. Bye.